Of course, that's what happened. Now my lock camera is bugged. Fix it. Fix it! Alright, let me try to fix this here real quickly. Turn you off. Hey, freedom. Maybe? Yes, there we go. Okay, finally. Just press the V key. It works every time, I promise. No. Anyways. Alright, so I vote to pause here to start things off coming out from the Hellborn side. But, again, so you see who's playing what. So you got Limp on Kraken again. I think that was a change that they made there at the last second. I think Jonas Fan initially was playing Kraken the last game. That's why they had the remake, perhaps. But, so they got Limp on Kraken. Jonas Fan going to be playing the Bubbles here. And, of course, from there on out, pretty self-explanatory. Swift played Fuzi. You got Silkit on the Rhapsody. And then Hanskin playing that Torturer here. Diglett on Magnus. Fuzzy Sloth on Drunken Master. Drent's playing the Empath. Swift Lane playing his go-to Gemini here. And then what you got on Pearl. So, once again, Pearl on what she can bring to the table here. Going to be interesting to see how they set up here. And ultimately what BMG does, too. Because they could easily, like I said, go that 2-2-1 setup themselves in the end. So, currently, Magnus and Gemini both heading towards the top lane, obviously. Both are going to be more of those farming, in the end, their own lane kind of roles here. So, not too much information given away just yet. But the one thing for certain, Fuzzy Sloth looks like he is heading towards bottom. And is expected to be more of that suicide here as far as his Drunken Master play goes in the end. So, currently, Torture is at the bottom lane. And actually, that may lead you to believe that maybe BMG is just going to play it safe here. Maybe they're not going to try anything too radical. They may just send the Bubbles top lane, actually. Almost hoping that our Hellborn side and The Last of Us may actually do some kind of aggressive dual lane or even a trial lane themselves bottom and trying to throw them off that way. But, because again, if you look at these trial lane setups, if you're BMG here, the potential at least, you'd probably favor BMG's chances with something like the Swiftblade Rhapsody Torturer against, say, the Gemini Pearl Empath. It's not really a whole lot of synergy coming out there. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I mean, definitely has kill potential. Very defensive, though, like I said, in what it can do. So, yeah, it is going to be interesting. I think some mind games coming out here between these two teams definitely is safe to say. So, nice. Apparently, Diglett has to use the restroom here before he can move on with game number 1. It is kind of funny seeing Hanskin at orange right there. So used to seeing him in that leader role. But, again, this was an all-pick game, so as far as the remake goes, at least. So seeing him at the orange text instead. Yeah, it's one of those really interesting things. You know, you never really maybe look too much into it, but these top-tier teams especially, they're used to being the same colors like every single game. Like, in this case, usually what it would be Hanskin on blue, Limp on light blue, Seal Kid on purple, then you got Fuzi on yellow and Hanskin, or excuse me, Jonas Fan on orange is what he usually seems to be in the end. And that's just more of like a comfort thing. Like I know that whenever I go to a lobby, I always sit down on light blue for whatever reason. Whenever I do the public games, even if it's just mid-wars or whatever, it's kind of a habit thing, I guess. So kind of a funny side note thing there. Anyways. We do see right here. Okay, so as we double chopped under the tree, making sure that tree is gone. Damn it! All 5 are going to be up here though for The Last of Us initially, as far as a defensive trialing coming out here, or setting up defensive at least. You see Rhapsody and Swiftblade though; they are heading towards the top lane. So actually, BMG doing a more, maybe not. I mean, maybe Torture just simply waiting to get some information, putting down the ward to site before they ruin it. Yeah, probably will rotate to the top lane to eventually set up the full-on tri lane here. And again, that's where BMG, on paper, you would think their tri lane potential pretty damn scary. Now, they don't have the Empath wall by any means that assists very well with that Swiftblade or a slow, really, for that matter, but they do got some nice stuns to assist. Staccato's kind of good for that, obviously, in a sense, almost like a slow, with how it mini stuns them and allows you to kind of close that gap, which is ultimately the purpose of a slow, of course. But yeah, so this is going to be the aggressive tri-lane setup. So now if you're The Last of Us, Pearl will most likely rotate top immediately here. I just don't see that not happening. I mean, I think they can compete, especially with Pearl there, in terms of at least being defensive and trying to maybe get some farm for Gemini. But because your other option outside of that is, I don't know what you could just simply leave Gemini up here and maybe send the Empath all the way to the bottom lane for this Drunken Master. But, you know, Drunken at the same time, he can definitely handle it on his own down there in that 1v1 matchup against Bubbles. So, in the end, it's they're going to stick with it for now. So, we'll see if BMG is going to be able to capitalize on this with that said. Now, they do rev forward the pole camp here, and actually, Drentz is going to figure that out pretty quickly, that it is blocked indeed. So, yeah, he goes for the stack, going to peek back in, and guess what? There's no stack there. That means it is blocked, good sir. So, yeah, he's going to have to deal with that. I was also looking at the asphyxiate for Pearl, kind of keeping an eye, or thinking about more so what they could possibly purge. Nothing too crazy, actually, now that I do look at it here on the Legion side, as far as what he could offensively purge with the asphyxiate ability. So, not a huge crucial thing there, but again, it still applies the slow, as well as a little bit of damage, of course, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, just to clarify right there, 80% movement speed, so that's quite a bit. On both the initial and the second burst, of course. So yeah, they're not making the adjustment. They're just going to leave it like this, and actually, BMG is going to be the one to make the adjustment. They try for maybe an earlier kill. It's not happening, so not going to keep 3 up there if it doesn't call for it. Instead, get Rhapsody to the middle lane and help protect the Kraken here in the end. You see the Rev wards coming out here on either side, and actually Hanskin, he gets his ward killed first. So Empath can't do much else about that. Just simply started auto-attacking a little bit later there in the end. Obviously, thus getting the Rev ward first. So Swiftblade currently by himself, actually, as Torturer is coming with the invis towards the middle. But you see right here, Magnus and Pearl playing very, very defensive. They definitely saw Torturer pick up this ward, or this Invis rune, as they do have the ward side up there, to easily see that coming in. So no chance of a gank being set up there, and thus Hanskin instead goes all the way back to the top lane. Now, he is coming in a pretty good position up here, but again, I don't think him and Swiftblade alone, unless they get Empath maybe a little bit out of position. But the way Drentz is playing right now, don't think that's going to happen. Maybe, as I say that, though, they're kind of diving right here a little bit on a Swiftblade. So Torture going to be coming around the backside. There's a wall off right there. Swiftblade goes for the spin, actually, on a Gemini. The chain reactions come out. They're going to go for a turn kill. They do have Twin Finks, though, on Gemini, and yeah, he is going to be fine. So that's why he's probably not the ideal target, but doing what needs to be done, getting some good damage out. I'm sure some health potion regen is going to be had. Yeah, there you go. So it is going to turn him back into that 2v2 lane now, as he's back up here with the failed gank attempt in the end. So as far as matchups go, let's take a closer look, see who's doing what. You got Kraken here again being played by Limp, 17-1. Currently, Magnus is 17-2, so very, very even, actually, between these two. I mean, it was a 2v1 advantage in favor of the Hellborn team initially, but, I mean, Rhapsody did rotate on pretty early on, so it wasn't really 2v1, and especially at level 1, it's not a whole lot of kill potential that they have. And I think that kind of is the biggest difference maker, if anything. And, yeah, obviously, both these are pretty good last years, pretty good farming kind of heroes here, but Kraken's got that splash. Volcanic Touch, though, from Magnus, which is currently turned off, actually. He's doing turning the Volcanic Touch off when doesn't want to push up the lane right here. Wants to keep some decent positioning. Kraken going to be stunned in, asphyxiate applied. There's the World Bubble, but again, not nearly enough. And actually, Pearl's now going to be in some trouble. The charge back in for Kraken, and down goes Pearl right there. You know, she really is kind of an awkward laner, and that's a perfect example right there. The World Bubble, it is a funky ability. It can be great, but you got to position it appropriately. It does some decent damage, but actually bottom lane, Drunken Master dies for the kill on a Jonas fan. Now the top lane, action at all 3 lanes. Torture's going to end up falling. It looks like, no, Gemini, he gets out of there before he ends up going out. Empath wants to commit, though. He gets the auto attack off, and he gets it just before. So that was so close to really backfiring onto The Last of Us. But in the end, at least he gets the kill as well onto Torture, so it ends up being a support for support. And yeah, and you factor in again the Drunken Master getting the kill at the bottom lane, so just all 3 lanes have an action. And thus we have a, well, 2-2 hero kill game now. Bloodlust kill, though, was in favor of Kraken here in the middle lane, of course, and that is showing now, 389 gold per minute. But it goes back to Pearl. Again, with that World Bubble, the fact that it pushes them back, it's definitely more of a defensive tool from this angle, and I think that kind of played a role there. And, you know, he went to put damage out, but you got to save it for when you need it defensively, you could argue. And that kind of backfired right there, as they committed as soon as they realized that that was obviously going to be on cooldown. And an easy turn kill set up as a result. Now, big dive at the top lane. Gemini, he puts a Twin Breath out, but he's taking a lot of damage from this spin right here. It's a level 3 spin, and that shows. Gemini just melts. Torture in the meantime, though. At least Torture will be counter-killed. Swiftblade, he runs up by Empath. Kind of an awkward path right there. Maybe he was trying to avoid some tower damage, but almost put him in a really bad spot. If that wall was off cooldown, that could have been a kill, but obviously it was not. You probably knew that anyways. Magnus, he's going to have to send out the charge from Kraken. Okay, never mind, that wasn't a charge. I thought that was. I think that was actually the World Bubble push coming into play right there. So exactly using that to help save his teammate's life right there. And, of course, the Magnus. Was I wrong on that? Oh, yeah, Seal Kid's usually yellow, and Fuzi's usually purple. That's right. That's usually what it is. But, again, they're kind of all over the place now with the old pick mode. Anyways, Pearl going for that bottom rune. Bubbles, I believe, got it first. I think it was a refreshment. So he puts in some good damage as a result before forced to fall back. Ooh, Kraken Invis rune. He actually used it as he hugged the tower, using it. There's a charge right into the cliff. Oh, but he gets a stun off. The release Kraken didn't happen in time, nor was the extra stun there. And I think that kind of threw Limp off a little bit. Figured that cliff was going to be able to stun, but actually did not. So, in the end, he does get away. Yeah, I'm very curious. I mean, maybe the stun, it is only a second, so maybe it did actually technically go off right there, and he's still able to lava surge away. But, yeah, the timing just not there. They do go back in, though, and Pearl does fall, obviously, as Bubble's still hanging around. So, good play to kind of persevere through it and be like, okay, we didn't get the first kill. They get a second kill, though. Again, if anything, though, still a one situation there because Magnus is all the way back at base right now. Not only leaving his teammate alone, which ended up dying, but had to regen, of course. And buy a TP to eventually come back into the lane. Top lane, we just continue to have action in this game. That's a good thing, though. Empath is going to fall when it's all said and done. And now Gemini, he goes for the turn kill. The Twin Finks misses, though, and that's where it may backfire. He puts in some auto attacks, but yeah, he needs to worry about surviving right here. Is it going to be enough? No, it goes back in a little bit of a juke right there. The Twin Breath, that's not enough damage, though. Yes, Torture will fall as the creeps actually assist right there, so at least he gets somebody with him. I mean, he probably figured at that point he was dead anyways, and yeah, I don't blame him. I think he probably was. So taking out somebody with him still something, but it did happen after he died as well. So obviously doesn't get that bonus experience from it either. But in the end, BMG definitely setting a good tone here. Earlier on in this game, 1,500 goal rate, 8 minutes in. Swift played especially 400 goal per minute right now. As far as his farm is concerned, Empath coming to assist the middle lane. Oh, almost as if they were running in, but I think the Song of the Sea kind of threw things off right there, and thus Mag was not able to gank. A little bit of a change up here. Kraken actually now at the bottom lane, charges in, but actually top lane. Gemini again kind of caught right here, and Palma comes out. They knew he was going to use the Twin Breaths. Of course, there's a spin yet again for Slimming. Such a master of diving towers. He's going to try to aggro the tower. Yes, he will, and Torture is going to be fine. So, causing issues, man. They picked up the Swift Blade. You just knew that it was going to be some kind of aggressive lane, most likely. Sure enough, it is as they do. And The Last of Us just not able to compete with it. You see Drent's right here. He's going to survive initially. Torture coming in, though. But Pearl's actually here. Oh, Torture may fall to this. No, he pops the Impale and puts in the auto attacks. He is going to go down, but at least he assisted for the kill onto Pearl before he does fall. So, yeah, but again, the point being, BMG and their aggressive play style is definitely paying off here. As far as the start to this game. Now, Magnus finds Bubbles. Here comes Drunken Master, actually. In comes the Eruption, and yes, down falls Bubbles. He was spamming that W, hoping that maybe he could cancel the Eruption. And actually, that could have happened. If Drunken Master actually used the lunge stun a lot quicker, then he might have very likely silenced the Eruption. But he did basically a full duration. That was a good patience by Fuzzy Sloth, making sure that the Eruption was going to be enough. And indeed picks up the kill onto Bubbles right there. But again, action just continues. 8-6 right here. 14 hero kills in 9.5 minutes right now. And guess what? It is not slowing down. Gemini again going to be bursted down. Swiftland has no chance. 4 deaths already for him. The coordination is just on the ball. And yeah, you could tell BMG was kind of progressing through the last series. You know, we talked about it going into the previous series. That Bad Monkey Gaming, they were really on almost like a 3-week break here. They won the Cycle 1 finals. They obviously had a little bit of a break after that. Cycle 2 started. Sure, they played the first match of Cycle 2, but again, it was against Shrek Love, against a very inexperienced team. It was outside of victory. I believe there were 2 basically 15-minute conceded wins. They hadn't played since then, and that was, 2 weeks ago at this point. So you're kind of wondering if that was going to affect them going to the initial series especially. It kind of did. I mean, no doubt Will Cooper deserved that victory in the first game especially. But you could tell BMG wasn't fully there. As that series progressed, we saw more and more of what we come to expect, and now I think it's kind of hitting that higher mark here. BMG just playing very, very well here, playing their style of play, the extra aggressive, getting a lot of kills early on, keeping the other team guessing where you're at. And that explains what's going on in this game right here. If anything, Drunken Master, he was sitting right on top of Revward that whole time while invis, and he's a little lucky that there wasn't more of a commitment right there as a result. So in the end, he is going to be fine. But speaking of that, the top war could actually be counter-warded right there. Good job by the supporting cast, of course, the Legion team on in terms of Bad Monkey Gaming. So, you know, you look at the GPM chart right now. Drunken Master can't undervalue what Fuzzy Sloss is doing for his team right now. 325 gold per minute. He has those Ghost Marchers. But no doubt, it's still looking pretty bad for The Last of Us as far as its early start is concerned. In fact, Empath is not going to help things. Drunken Master, though, comes in at the last second. Empath jumps aside, and Torturer melts as a result. That is a power right there. And now Swiftblade, he's going to go for the TP. He is going to be fine as Fuzi makes the port. But he actually has a Sustainer, by the way. Very curious about that. I'm trying to... Does he usually go Rune Cleaver? I want to say he does usually go Rune Cleaver. So we'll probably see that. But at the same time, you know, Nullstone this is actually an okay Nullstone game here on the Hellborn side in terms of what they would be nullifying if you do go the Nullstone. But yeah, something tells me there's going to be that Rune Cleaver here to be coming out from Swiftblade. So he's actually has a solid build up here, the Iron Shield, the power supply, into those Ghost Marches, of course, and now possibly going for that. In the meantime, Magnus channels up the Eruption, and he's going to go take out some triple stack Ancients. I was kind of acting like he was going for the kill. No, just killing some triple stack Ancients, that's all. No big deal here. Ian Ban! Thanks for the sub, by the way, Ian Ban, on the Honcast channel. Hopefully you enjoy those emotes. They are pretty awesome emotes, especially the But What Cost one. Ian Ban, shout out to you, good sir, for subbing to the Honcast chat. Anyways, with that said, back to the game. So, you got a Swiftblade, though. 435 gold per minute. Again, especially if he's going for Rune Cleaver, that GPM can continue to advance. Now, that's where you do got to almost look at that a little bit and be like, is this almost a little bit greedy here from Fuzi? And if you're more so, if you're The Last of Us, pick up on that. And, I mean, Swiftblade is going to continue to be pretty squishy, especially if that is ultimately his item choice here as it continues to progress. So, I wonder if we're going to see kind of a pace here increase as far as The Last of Us in terms of what they're looking to do here in game number 1. But for the time being, Magnus just trying to get any farm he can. He's close to the portal key. He is actually getting there. Diglett, 337 gold per minute. So yeah, he's actually been doing pretty well overall too as far as the GPM concerned. Get that portal key. Definitely start getting active with the Drunken Master, who very possibly is going to be having his Soul's Bulwark here in the near future. I think I just saw Swiftblade buy something. I believe it was one of the broadswords. I think it's only one for now. I was thinking he needs a second one before he's good to go. Anyways, they do push the bottom lane. No defense being put up there by The Last of Us. And instead, BMG will just continue to go for now, actually. Again, Magnus, he's so close to the portal key, but you got to make a decision here, too. They commit to a fight knowing that it may delay the portal key even more, but possibly could win a fight if they get the jump. Or it could all fall apart. So this is that really fine line right here, the fine dance from The Last of Us. Now they don't even have everyone here. And this is the worst case scenario. They're going to be jumped initially. Down goes Magnus off the back. Preservation comes out, but it just simply was too late right there. Gemini gets pulled and released Kraken right into as he TP'd in. He's able to twin things away at the last second, but he is just going to be on the run the whole time. Protecting the Melody in the background. Magnus stunts in. He stops that immediately, so he obviously buys back. Diglett trying to do enough work for his team. Drunken Master falls though, and Swiftblade still pretty damn strong right here as far as what he's doing. Bubbles also got the kill off to the side onto Gemini, and now Swiftblade's going back in. No, Magnus actually picks up Torture out to the side, but now Magnus is in trouble. He does not have a Steam Bath. Kraken, the charge hits the tree. He's not able to finish him off. Bubbles in the background finishing off the support, though, as Pearl's picked off. Magnus stunning out. Diglett's trying to do anything he can to live, and I think he is going to in the end. But BMG definitely overall pretty strong in that fight, again, especially when you factor in a buyback was used by Magnus right there as well. And on top of it all, look at the items all of a sudden coming out for the Legion team. A portal key now on Bubbles, as well as Kraken. He had that in the last fight, and the Rune Cleaver is finished on Swiftblade right here in the end. So he's already sitting at 500 gold per minute. Expect that even to continue to rise here as far as his farm is concerned. And Yeah, he's well on his way to looking pretty damn good. So again, the Souls Bulwark on Drunken Master just around the corner now. But they really need that porta key on Diglett, who, again, even with that buyback, he actually has 1,800 gold saved up. So that's kind of the good news, I guess you could say, for The Last of Us. In terms of them being able to have a chance here in game number 1. Again, once he gets that porta key, making it look someplace with it ASAP here will be key for The Last of Us. Now, Gemini, he's doing his darnest to get any farm that he can, but obviously not really the best. Only 217 gold per minute currently in this game, and just going to farm some jungle camps in the meantime to get any farm he possibly can. Swiftblade will just clean up some triple stack agents. While this is going on, again, between that Rune Cleaver and the spin that he has, he gets them down pretty quickly. Probably going to see that Abyssal Skull, actually, coming up next. This is a perfect example why. If he had an Abyssal Skull right here, these would be dead, and he would be still well alive. But so, yeah, that's going to lead me to believe that, yeah, Abyssal Skull probably be a good item choice to come out here for Swiftblade. But he's going to finish those off. And hopefully for his sake, stay alive. Yeah, he does. And, yeah, maybe get a health potion up here. Top lane, though, Torturer pushing up by himself. You got to question Hanskin a little bit. Oh, never mind. Don't question Hanskin. He ends up killing Swiftblade right there on Gemini. So I was going to say, got to question maybe a little bit pushing that far up as a secondary support this earlier on. But, man, he ends up getting the counter kill to Gemini. And you almost got to follow Gemini there at the same time because Drunken Master was coming in to secure the job. Gemini was sticking around to help him finish it, and I think it was really the Impalement that did most of the work. Torment was also doing plenty of damage as well. Magnus, in the meantime, he's spotted out. He gets the Lava Surge off. The Swift Slashes go through. He does not die, though. That is absolutely huge. He has the portal key now. They're not going to be able to stun back in by any means, but at least him surviving, pretty big deal again, especially since the Swift Slashes were used right there by Swiftblade. So, well played on the getaway. I see Magnus stunning, and I believe that was an illusion right there. As the Bubbles. Oh, no, Bubbles actually portal keyed right there. So that was kind of just good timing on both sides. Just a little too good, though. As they both eventually avoid one another. But Diglett will deny the bottom tower in the meantime. So again, Swiftblade, though, 2,100 gold saved up. Nothing on the courier, just gets that TP. And oh, he missteps right there. Maybe that was just a purpose cancel, yeah. I think he thought about going, I think it was going top, but obviously, you see up there, Drunken Master was already falling back, so screw it, no point to waste time. Might as well just continue to farm. That is 135 gold really down the drain, sure, but it's going to make it up pretty quickly, to say the least, is what he's doing. Yeah, there's the Abyssal Skull coming out there for Swiftblade, so again, not a big surprise to see that pick up. And it seems like that Frostburn follow-up, it seems pretty popular in these cases for the Swiftblade, so if he follows the trend of what tends to be the case, then we'll possibly see that route coming out. But Drunken Master, he's got the Souls Bulwark. He has another 1,300 gold now saved up and actually cleaning up these triple stack Ancients pretty quickly right here. So not too shabby at all. Fuzzy Sloth, 356 gold per minute. I mean, it's actually not bad. Obviously, the GPM chart's a little skewed because of where Swiftblade's at 515 gold per minute. But definitely not doing too shabby here. Jonathan Van going for the big plays. Can he get the kill? Preservation knocks it back initially. There's the Untouchable coming out. The lunge and the take cover was used, but with Empath inside, he's doing so much damage. And Bubbles does end up falling. I was going to say, I had a feeling, man, Jonathan Van, he mans up a lot of times, but that time it just backfires. He had the right idea, but just not enough damage. And also good reaction coming out from Pearl and Empath right there to help keep Drunken Master alive in the end. So, beautiful turnaround on their part. And Bubbles, by the way, Jonas Van going the Striders here. Again, he's had an okay game, but still valuing the Striders this game, choosing not to go the Steam Boots here in the end. Wanted that portal key as soon as possible. And, I mean, he definitely got it earlier on, but, yeah, that was a unfortunate series of events for him. Top lane, Gemini. Oh, the charge missed, actually. It's just the Ice Dog, though. It's going to end up falling, it looks like. Yep, nothing you can do about that. It's hard to fault him for that because, I mean, he's literally behind a secondary tower as it's being pushed in by a creep wave, but I think that's just more good play by Kraken, if anything. But, yeah, good job by Limp with that said, even missing the charge. Still gets the kill onto Gemini and does the work. So, good kill coming out for them right there. Kill secured, 20 minutes in. Kraken, he's going to have his own shrunken head here, actually, very shortly, as you see right here. And again, back to Fuzi playing the Swift lane. I did just realize that. I put that up in chat, too. Swift lane over here going up against a Swift Blade. Go figure. Kraken. Oh, the charge hits as he kind of ran into it right there. Drunken Master pops the untouchable, though. Again, he has been getting damage as a result of that null stun effect. And actually, BMG says we are not comfortable fighting this anymore. So good retreat on their part, because yeah, definitely Magnus was coming in and ready with that portal key, obviously, once again. So making sure they don't want to overcommit by any means. This is most certainly still a winnable game for The Last of Us. The Drunken Master, we all know that he can be very, very scary with some good farm. And hell, Gemini's always got the late game potential. Now his start's not the best, but if he buys enough time to get farm going, then obviously come late game, that could be a big difference as to in terms of the impact that he's having compared to now. But 7 deaths will understandably slow you down quite a bit here. And that's exactly what he has. So, but again, Drunken Master doing pretty well, and you know, the Magnus too. Got that portal key, another 1,700 gold saved up now. So the portal key tablet seems to be the go-to route initially, and then where he goes from there, we'll see. What Diglett decides, he needs to be careful in the middle lane. Kraken this time, he's not going to miss the charge. Release Kraken right on top. The World Bubble comes into the last second, but it wasn't enough. And the angle wasn't the best right there either. Preservation is used, but yeah, again, just too little too late. So, or more so even a lot too late to not save Diglett right there. So good find though. Flips Kraken. It's hard to argue that he's not the best one out there because, well, frankly, he is. Finds a nice little kill right there as a result. Firebrand just purchased by Swiftblade in the meantime. And that's going to be delivered as they're pushing in the middle lane here. Is BMG. Drunken Master off to the side. No, he's not going to be found. He is working towards that Shrunken Head now, but again, that is one of those cases it still makes sense by all means to get, especially against like this Kelfield and whatnot, having that Shrunken Head to freely move around. Obviously, as far as mitigation and damage, got Kraken and Swiftblade putting out a lot of physical damage. He does have a Soul's Bulwark, though. With that said, he's going to find Bubbles right here. Bubbles the shell stuff. He is going to be able to get it off, but the chase continues. Untouchable is Bubbles. Portal keys away in time. Gemini jumps in the background. Kraken the charge. This one slides between the two dogs, and Gemini does end up falling as a result. Again, they're getting a little too far here. Gemini especially overstepping his boundaries. Now Drunken Master, he's going to be locked down. Great teamwork coming out. Bubbles in the back when he comes back up the Kelfield, and now Pearl's going to be picked off. Empath inside Magnus. Just simply run away right there. Magnus, no chance of getting an eruption off, apparently, in the midst of that fight. And BMG going to go somewhat cutthroat here. Maybe not. Yeah, they decide as a team. Not worth the pushing into the base just yet. Only 23 minutes in still. And I don't think they're in a huge rush necessarily. Looks like they're going to fall back in. Maybe just simply go for that Conqueror attempt. A Ward of Sight is put down by Seal Kid, giving them plenty of vision to work with, and there's still Resurrections obviously coming out. Now, there's a buyback on Drunken Master, but I highly doubt that's going to be used, unless they want to commit to a Conqueror stand here. But yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Oh, Magnus, he might be in trouble, actually. He just stunned in the middle lane. They're going to run up onto him. There's that charger from Kraken. The stun follow-up, and exactly. That's exactly what I was worried about for Diglett's sake. Stunning into a middle creep wave like that. I mean, you had to know that they were doing Conqueror too, right? Maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't know that they were doing Conqueror. But especially if you know that they're doing Conqueror, you can't. That's risky. And for that reason right there, using your escape ability to farm instead of using it to escape, it's risky and it does not pay off. So, Token of Life picked up by Swiftblade here. And look at the lead all of a sudden for Bad Monkey Gaming. I say all of a sudden lightly, I guess. It's definitely been a progressing lead. But now we have a 16,000 goal lead, a 13,000 experience lead in favor of Bad Monkey Gaming. So once again, you look at where The Last of Us is at. What can they do? This Gemini is almost non-existent at this point in terms of what he's bringing to the table. He's basically a walking, very awkward stun and a twin breath that, you know, it's solid with the movement, slow on the dot damage and the burst, but it's not where even close you want him to be. So you Drunken Master, you're relying a lot on him. Sure, a Shrunken Head will be big, but like I was saying earlier, Kraken showing off his damage. I would think a Soul's Bulwark for him maybe next in line, speaking of that, to even crush them faster. But there's a lot of physical presence. Going back to that logic, again, both Kraken and Swiftblade, they're still going to be able to do plenty against this Drunken Master, even though he has that Shrunken Head. So that's where I get at. This is not really as big of an item as it may be in other games. And actually, top lane, again, Gemini's going to be caught out. Nothing he can do once he is. And that's now his 9th death of the game already. So it's just not happening for The Last of Us. And BMG, this is what they do best, though. They They make pretty solid teams, and The Last of Us most certainly one of these solid teams. Help being the Pro League, it means something for sure, especially back-to-back cycles here. But BMG is just damn good once again, and they are playing at a pretty good level here. Now Magnus, again, he has that eruption, the Portkey combo. He actually buys a tablet here. Shrunken Head is going to be purchased on Drunken Master, so they're going to be looking at going here. They know that this is their chance, if any. They need to make something happen. I'm waiting for the channel and the eruption. It's coming out any second. There we go. Diglet's going to be... Oh, never mind. That was just a taunt. I thought he was using it. Anyways, not erupting just yet. There we go. Going to be going off. In the meantime, Torture is dropping quickly. There's a jump with the eruption. Swift play taking a lot of damage. Preservation kind of pushes him out somewhat. And the release of Kraken, though, doing work right here. Drunken Master locked down. He finally gets out of that with a Shrunken Head. He is on complete run mode, though. He's not looking to be offensive here whatsoever. Will he go back in? Yes, he will. The Twin Fakes on top of the lines. The Swift Slashes, though, gets off with the Red Technology. Gemini will fall. And Swift Blade is going to ultimately survive. Again, he had a token of life anyways. But they can't even kill him initially. Maybe they can. Magnus decides to run away, but instead of finishing him off, and now you have a Drunken Master who finally is, but at what cost right here? Drunken Master, no untouchable ready. The wall comes out. Fuzzy Slot doing the job that needed to be done. Magnus with a big stunner right there. BMG, they need to be careful not to focus too much on them. Yeah, I was going to say, finish off the melee racks, and then eventually get back. The Last of Us trying their best to kind of distract them, and hey, they're accomplishing that as they go back in yet again. They do kill Magnus, though, and now Drunken Master again. He has untouchable, but he's just not confident going back in. He just does not have enough life. Shrunken Head on 15-second cooldown. Pearl's going to be caught out, and he's just completely playing run mode. GG well played starting to be called here. It looks like that is going to do it for game number 1. Bad Monkey Gaming is going to take game number 1 here over The Last of Us. Excuse me there. And this bet's at a 3, so congratulations to them. But, yeah, again, that was just simply runaway for BMG in terms of once they – it was just a potential – gradually even is the word I'm looking for – kind of growing up there as far as momentum goes. And once they got full force, they just were not stopping that train, man. You know, again, a lot of that had to do with, like I said, it's the idea that they tried to work against what ended up being kind of a tri lane. They did make the adjustment earlier on, did BMG, so it technically wasn't a tri lane, but they went aggressive in the end against this Gemini especially. The Pearl pick, I felt it's like the reason why she was picked up was to be more of a defensive, kind of that behemoth aspect, more of a defensive tri-lane laner in the end. They